How's it going? We're back with another video. Today we are working on creating this. This is our practice drawing. This is our practice drawing, taking our practice model, going ahead and placing it in with a few orthographic views as well as an isometric view, going through and annotating it with center lines, center marks, as well as dimensions, and then the submission process. So let's get started. And in order to get started here, we are going to start with our blank drawing template. So go ahead and bring up that blank drawing template. I just so happen to have my template in with my part number one. You can start a new one, whatever works for you. But make sure you have this blank drawing template, and we are going to go ahead and place in our views. So we're going to start with our base view. Our base view is going to be the view that all of our other views are based off of. So in order to place a base view, you're going to go up here where it says Insert View. Let me just go up here, Insert View, and we'll click that. And it's going to ask you first which part or model you would like to insert. So in this case, we want to insert part one or model one. So once you've selected a specific part, you want to make sure that you're orienting it in the correct direction. So you want your base view to kind of be your front view. And in this case, this works great for our front view. We're just going to keep it just like that. So what I want to do is kind of line it up generally where I want it to be. So right here is good. We can always adjust it later. And I'll go ahead and do a left click and release. When I left click and release, you'll see that I have kind of a general outline of this front view right here. Now, before you do anything else, we can go ahead and immediately place our top view, and you can kind of see what this top view will look like based off of its projection. So we'll go ahead and drag this top view on top, and we'll do a quick left click, and that will go ahead and create those views. Now you'll see if I move this view, oops. I go ahead and I move this view is going to move in conjunction with it. So that's why when I say base view, that's what I'm mentioning. It's all of our views are based off of this view. And if I move this one, that one will move in conjunction so that these are aligned with one another. Now, we have our front view, we have our top view, but we still need a few more views. We need our side view, and we need our auxiliary view or our isometric view. So I'm going to go ahead back up to projected view, and I'll go ahead and left click projected view, and I'll go ahead and left click on our base view, and I'm going to drag out and place our side view or right view. Go ahead, left click. Once you have that in, that's great. We're going to do one last view, and that will be our isometric view. So once again, if I left click my base view and drag out, you'll see that I now have my isometric view, or that kind of 45-degree three-dimensional view. I'll go ahead and left click, and now I have all of my views placed. So I will escape out of that tool, so I'm no longer in it. And once again, you can see that all three of these orthographic two-dimensional views move in unison, which is really great. So we'll go ahead and adjust those around. That looks good there. We'll adjust this over here. And now we are ready to set ourselves up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and right click on our isometric view, and where is it here? Oh, yes, I'm going to go ahead and right click, and I'm going to press Show Shaded View. When I press Show Shaded View, it will go ahead and load in that color or material or appearance in which I selected in our previous step. So there you go right there. That's our shaded auxiliary or isometric view. So the next process in this is going ahead and adding our hidden lines to these orthographic views. So right now we do not have our hidden lines added. We don't have too many in this, but it's good to include. So I'll right click my base view, and right now it's kind of hiding it, but I should be able to, yes. So if I click on one of the other views, show hidden lines, you'll see it went and shows it. Now it is kind of hard with this. Maybe if I scooch this down. Yeah, show hidden lines. So you just want to make sure that you're seeing your entire menu and you're going through and you're clicking on all 3 of these views. Oh my God, might have to move that one down as well. And you are clicking show hidden lines. Just right click, show hidden line, right click, show hidden line, right click, and show hidden line. And then now you can see that I have my whole showing as my hidden line on my side view. Wonderful. So take some time, get your views placed, front view, top view, side view. Keep in mind this is our base view, our front view. We have our auxiliary view in here. We went through and right clicked and shaded it. Went through and shade view, show shade view. And then we right clicked on each one of these and we showed hidden lines. We can probably also do that all at the same time by shift clicking and then showing hidden lines as well. So that's up to you how you do it. Our next step is to annotate our drawing. Actually, I apologize, I scrapped that. Our next step is to finish filling out our title block. So we have the majority of our title block filled out, but we don't have quite all of it, right? So you might have to go in here and it probably says drawing. This is going to be called drawing practice or practice drawing. So go ahead, double click on that top part and adjust this to practice drawing. Now, depending on how you set everything else up, you might only have to change one other thing. You can see in here, it pre-added my date. So if I zoom in, you can see that it had added my date automatically, which is awesome. You'll also see that it automatically added my scale based off of the scale of the models that I've placed. And I placed this in at a 1-to-1 scale. So you'll see it's referenced as 1-to-1. However, most of you will have to adjust this additional information. So you can go in and you can change it as you know to whatever you want. You can change it to the color. Mine now is kind of gold-ish. You can put color gold. You can put front, top, side for your views that you included. You guys know that you can put basically anything in there as long as it's relevant to the drawing and you actually have something. So go ahead and make sure you're adding your additional information. Oh, you can't spell. And we'll go ahead and hit our green check mark. I'll do a right click and zoom to fit. So we're back to where we need to be. Now that we have our views placed and we have our title block completely filled out, we are ready to start annotating. Now, annotations in this drawing template or in drawings have to do with adding both your center line, your center mark, as well as your dimensions. There's a whole lot more that can be done in here, but we're going to keep it simple. So in order to add, before you add your dimensions, you add your center lines and center marks. Center lines are added to holes in kind of a side view, and center marks are added to full circles or partial curves. So let's add our center lines first. Up here, it is a edge-to-edge center line. Go ahead and click on that, and you'll see it highlights. Now, in order to operate this tool, what you do is you click one side of your hidden line. So you see I click the left side of my dotted line. I click the right side of my dotted line, and you can see I have the center line placed perfectly in there. Once again, same thing, boom, boom, there's your center line. We are now ready to place our center marks. So that's your center lines. Let's go ahead and get ready to place our center marks. So it's not this tool. It's not this tool. We are going to use just the simple center mark tool. Go ahead and click on that center mark tool. And then we will go ahead and first click on the large circle. That will add our center mark in there. And then it's also important to add those center marks onto fillets. So we'll add a center mark there, and we'll add a center mark there. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and escape out of my tool and zoom to fit, and you can see we're all set up for dimensions. And that's basically the last step in this process. So what I want you to do is go ahead and use the piece of paper or file that I referenced to you and provided to you and make your drawing basically look the same. So typically we're going to start with our overall, width and height kind of measurements here. So we'll go ahead and we'll place this 2. We'll go ahead and we'll also be placing this 2. And And now it's kind of following along. So I'm going to go ahead and place my overall height. That's one right there. And I'm going to place the top portion distance. So we'll click there and there. That's 0.5. Now we know that this bottom part is also 0.5 because if our overall is 1 and our top is 0.5, I don't need to include this bottom distance of 0.5. We already know that. Okay, since we did the height of that, let's get the overall width. Get that as well. And it looks to me as though I might need to slide this down a little bit so I have a little bit more room for my dimensions, because it's important, that you're keeping your space on everything and everything looks really, really nice and neat. Okay. All right, so let me get back into this dimension tool. We have a few other dimensions to place. I'll place this guy from here to here, and that will tell me the distance from the edge of my circle to the center point, or the edge of my box to the center point of my circle, just like that right there. And then we'll also get this one right here. So we're looking at the center point from this side in as well. Wonderful. Now we do have a couple more to do. These ones are a little bit more complicated. So what we're going to do, the first one we'll do is the radius on this fillet. So we'll go ahead and click on, actually, I'd like to use the outer one. All right. So go ahead and click on this here. We'll drag it out so it's outside of our object, and then we'll do a left click to place it. So that's that. That one was pretty easy. This one's also pretty easy at 0.25. And you can also line these up, which is really nice. So we'll line up that edge as well. And then you can adjust it if you'd like later on. So yeah, something like that looks good. All right. Our last one here is to go ahead and place this one. Now this one's a little bit more, a little bit different. We're going to double left click on it. And down here, we are going to place a symbol, insert symbol. We're going to insert the depth symbol. As we all know, that's the depth symbol. And our depth is through all. So if I go ahead and type a depth of through all, I know now that this hole goes all the way through. So we're just practicing using some of these symbols here. Not super, necessary to the drawing itself. The very last one that we're going to add in is our dimension for our chamfer. And this one does require something. For this one, you do have to left click on your dimension to bring the drop down, and you have to, once again, left click on the chamfer dimension. So I'll click on this chamfer. I'll drag this out. Come on. Click on the chamfer, I'll drag it out, and I'll place it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll click. So for the chamfer tool, I forgot it's a little bit different. You have to click on the chamfer, and then you have to click. So click on the chamfer, and then you're going to be clicking on the top face as well. So you might be able to see I clicked on the chamfer. Now we're going to click on the top, and that will help to identify the angle in which we are moving as well as the length of the line. So we know that we made this chamfer 0.125. Very last thing we're going to do is double click, and we are going to add all chamfers. And once again, Mr. Me can't spell. All right, all chamfers. And that's going to go in this top line here. So once you add all chamfers, that references not only this top chamfer, but this bottom chamfer as well. So I don't have to include that second measurement. So we dimension this top chamfer, but it also is going to reference to this bottom one since it says that all chamfers are exactly the same. And they are. Okay, let me do a quick zoom to fit. This is what we are left with. And this is our completed practice drawing. So what you need to do at this point, if you'd like to do some last modification of scooching stuff around, making sure it's all in the correct place, and then you are going to follow that same process for exporting as a PDF file. So I would simply right click, hit export, name this practice drawing, and we'll go ahead and hit export, and that will export it. Make sure you are in P